Back at you guys again with another episode of Farms Out. We are here and we are farming. If you guys are wondering why I'm looking so nice today, it is because it was Grandparents' Day for my little sister. So I went to her school and I was the cool older brother, kind of awesome looking. So, you know, she was having a good time. Yeah, and, you know, I had lunch with her, which was cool. She's a lot different than I was when I was a kid. I don't know, I'm ranting? I guess I'm talking about non-Rise of Kingdoms related stuff, but I guess you guys get to hear about my day. Anyway, yeah, she's not a lot like me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I looked at her and I was like, I was like, she's 10. I was like, what was I like when I was 10? And I was just so much different. Like, I watched her like pick all of the pepperonis off of her pizza and then put it down. And I was like, man, I think my mom would have like beaten me had I picked all the pepperonis off and put it down. I think I would have gotten my ass handed to me. But, you know, then again, you know, we have different moms, so not super duper surprising, but, you know, it was nice seeing her. It was nice talking to her teachers and her friends and meeting all of them. You know, my grandma passed like 2 days ago, I think. I can't remember if I talked about that in my last video, but yeah, my grandma has died, but, you know, it's okay. It is what it is. All right, first question here, coming from Storm6193. Is it ever worth making legendary gathering equipment outside of moving KD and you need to build some gold? So I have one legendary gathering set, I believe. It depends on how much you chain, really, because generally if you have like full purple equipment on all of your stuff, then it's kind of chill. Then you can kind of do whatever you want to. If you don't chain a lot, I mean, because like once you have purple gathering equipment, like what else are you really saving for? So yeah, I mean, getting the legendary stuff at that point is probably fine. Overall, it doesn't really matter too much one way or another. So I wouldn't really stress on it. Like if you built a couple pieces, like the world's not going to end. I just wouldn't do it until like later in the game. And if you chain a lot, obviously you're gonna have a ton of bones, and that's pretty solid. The only thing that is a little concerning about it is if they ever release gear that is built off of bones, disassembling all of that gear is gonna be some of the most painful stuff on the planet. Me, I'm already all into it, if I'm being honest. Like I have not once considered like what are the repercussions of doing this. So I have a bunch of legendary gathering equipment. If you guys want to do like me, you definitely can. I think it's helped in some ways, but I definitely gather way less gems than I did at first. And unless you're very active, like you're not really going to notice the difference between like a few gathering percent. It just depends like if you're watching your gatherers come back and forth. Next question is coming from ZKX2417. Should I try to get the new open field archer to 5111 to have a second chaining march? I have Richard as my only healing and YSG and ZL expertise with circular AoEs. Richard, YSG, ZL, Shajar, or is it a waste of gems and heads? Personally, the more circular AoEs you have, the better. The way I look at circular AoEs is I would say that you don't need a tank in front of you. You just need anybody. So this can be Nevsky, this can be Scipio, this can be literally anyone. I'd be very skeptical about limiting your efficiency based on just only having the most efficient marches. When it comes to chaining, the more marches you can put on the field, the better. So should you invest in the new archer commander because she has a circular AoE? Yes. I think it's a great idea, even if you put it in front of like Chow Chow or Martel or somebody who's going to get beaten by these barbs, and you know you're only going to be able to kill like 5 or 6 barbs. That's totally fine. 5 or 6 barbs is a lot. That's a really good deal. So I would not overthink it. I would just run it. All right, next farm and next question coming from Crab Rock. Heard Shiskel talking negatively about them Archer rallies. In my opinion, Asher rallies are still the biggest slappers in the game, but he made it seem like they were good for nothing. What would be the better rally then? Inf, which is already the garrison meta? It just depends. It just depends. And the reason why it depends is because usually people who are rally mains or people who are garrison mains, like they will have like some spectacular armaments and gear, but it'll only be for one troop type. So like I've seen Asher rallies put in a ton of work, but let's say there's the option for like, for example, if there are artifacts, like I'm probably never running Asher ever, right? If there are artifacts, it's probably gonna be like ATLC. Every single time, boom, 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 boom. But if there aren't artifacts, you know, Asher is going to be good in some situations against certain garrisons. Like, for example, if you have a garrison that has like a lot of normal damage reduction, Asher is suddenly awesome. If you are into a garrison that has a lot of skill damage reduction, Asher is suddenly not terrible, but significantly worse, right? So I mean, like, I would say it's a rock, paper, scissors, but less of a rock, paper, scissors between archers, cavalry, and infantry anymore, and more of, you know, do they need skill damage? Do they need normal damage? You know, so on and so forth. The only thing is that Attila Takeda or Attila LC just does so much normal damage that you don't really care too much. The final question is coming out here from ARXZ. I'm going to KVK6, and I have ZL Herman both max, and a 5551 Scipio with a 5554 LC, who I'll have max soon. Do you think it'll be better to go for a cab march next, or go to a second archer march with the new archers? It depends on how many sculptures you have. This is a situation where I would hold on to your gear and I would hold on to your sculptures, and I would see how the new archers test out, because the new archers are going to come out literally any day now. Now that they've announced them, they might come out in 2 weeks, they might come out in a month max. It just depends on how badly you really need that march. Again, if you go for QB Joan of Arc, it's never a mistake. right? There's never a point where you get QB Joan and you're like, wow, this was bad. But if you get QB Joan and the new archers are really, really OP because they look strong to me, then, I mean, you might have some kind of FOMO, some kind of regret. So, I mean, overall, I would just say save your gear right now, save your sculptures, and see what the new archers are like. There's really nothing wrong with waiting. You also have already 2 marches. So, I mean, you know, just take some time. Take some time, sit back, see what's coming out, and then you can decide if you want to go for one or the other. As it leans right now, I thought the archers looked pretty strong. The second pair of archers may be the move. But having 2 archer sets and then, you know, cavalry come out might also unbalance your marches. But at the same time, if you invest in cavalry and then they're replaced later, then you're going to have to bench 2 cav. Overall, I think the archers are pretty reasonable, but again, you know, I don't know if it's ZL in the new archer, then you already have ZL and Herman, so that might not be the move. The safest thing here is Cav. You go QB, Joan, and you're basically always going to be okay. You know, there's nothing too bad at that march out. Okay, and that is it for all the farms, guys. That is a pretty quick episode of Farms Out, other than me like ambiently staring at the screen because Race had to edit it because I forgot I was recording. But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming through. I appreciate y'all watching the stream or the videos. I might have another video coming out today. I'm not entirely sure. If you guys like this type of content, please drop a like, a follow, consider subscribing, all that good stuff. If you guys want to help support the stream, please consider donating the Streamlabs link in the description below. If you guys want coaching, remember we do on-stream coaching for 35 bucks a session, off-stream coaching for 75 bucks a session. And yeah, if you want that, you just go to the Discord in the description below and you make a ticket. Have yourselves an absolutely great one, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.